So basically what happens, few of the programming languages, they support Java, like Java, that the program is partially compiled and then it is interpreted when it is being executed. What does that mean? First thing that you need to understand is that whenever the source code is compiled, it is basically fixed for the processor type. Means if this processor is Qualcomm, the compiled code, basically compilation turns the source code for that processor type into executable form. And this file, for example, anything.exe, basically can be executed over the computer. Now this executable, which is let's say made for i3, can work on i7, can work on i5, can work on i9, because it belongs to the same processor made by Intel. All right. So if you like this source code to be executed over another processor, you will have to actually take this source code and compile it over that particular processor and find its own, that processor's executable file. So you need to understand that source code, when it is compiled, the output execution file is basically hardware dependent. The word hardware dependent is used for the program which can only run on one particular type of the hardware, because their source code was compiled for that particular type of hardware or processor. Now, when the programming languages were created, like Java, a different philosophy was applied with Java, that to how it should be used. Each different type of computer has to have Java virtual machine created for it. Then when program writers or programmers writes a Java program, this is compiled first of all to create what is called Java bytecode. And then when the bytecode is run, this code is interpreted by the Java virtual machine. The bytecode can be transferred to any computer that has a Java virtual machine installed. So what Java people do, they claim that you don't have to actually recompile their source code for every sort of hardware over this planet Earth. Rather, we just basically what happens, we have the source code and then Java compiles it, but not fully. Java compiles it partially. Partially means it does not compile it to the executable form, but it compiles it to the form which is called object code. Now, object code is a low-level code which is ready to be converted to machine code. It is almost there. Means that all sort of compilation processes are done through the source code, and it is now fully ready, and it is in the form that can be converted to the machine language. Now this object code is placed over a server, over let's say internet server. Now Now this server serves this object code through the internet. Now basically what happens that the world has got so many types of different hardware like this cell phone, or maybe the iPad, or maybe a desktop computer, or maybe a laptop. They all are having different hardwares. So what they have done, they have made JVM, Java Virtual Machine. As we know that the interpreter is a virtual machine, it does not actually let the processor execute the program. Rather, interpreter itself reads a source code line and converts that line to the executable form and executes it itself. So this Java virtual machine is actually made for every single hardware over the planet Earth. Now what basically happens, as soon as you try to execute a program which is made in Java and you download it from internet and install it, it asks you that this program runs in Java, so you would have to download and install Java first. So what happens that Java virtual machine gets installed in that particular hardware, no matter if it is your mobile phone, if it is your iPad or tab, if it is your desktop, or it is your laptop, whatever it is, Java virtual machine is made for every single hardware. Now what happens that this source code is, this object code is delivered to this particular hardware. Now this hardware has got Java virtual machine installed in it. Now this Java virtual machine actually reads that object code and it starts executing it, but it is virtual machine. It is an interpreter. So it does it line by line, but the object code, not the source code directly. So get the idea. So they want us to learn about those conditions where the program is half compiled and half interpreted. Now this object code is better called bytecode. This is the terminology which is used, bytecode, in Java. So what basically happens that the source code, when the Java compiler is applied to it, it turns it into the bytecode. That bytecode through the internet servers is reaching every sort of hardware whole in the world when this bytecode, which is so-called program, is tried to be installed. It asks the user of that particular hardware to download Java, and this Java virtual machine then is basically through internet gets installed over that hardware. Whenever the program which was in bytecode is being executed, that particular machine calls Java and JVM then executes that program, but this time it is not a direct execution, rather it is basically JVM interpreting that program, the bytecode. So that is how it actually uh, works. So in order to achieve shorter execution times, many high-level languages like Java programs use a system that is partially compilation and partially interpretation. The source code is checked and translated by a compiler into the object code. Now, the object code is a low level machine independent because it is not fully converted to the executable form. Machine independent code called bytecode. Sometimes it is called intermediate code, sometimes it is called P code, but the word that is used in our syllabus is bytecode. To execute the program, the object code, which is bytecode, can be then interpreted by an interpreter, which is Java virtual machine. So that's a